Hey guys, it's TJ here, and if you're seeing this video, that's because it thunderstormed and rained on the weekend. I was planning on going to Point Pleasant to film the other video for Point Pleasant for Fallout 76. So this is the backup video, and if you're seeing that, it unfortunately did thunderstorm, and I'll be back in Point Pleasant as soon as possible. But what I figured I'd do, because I have the time to, and I can run around town while I spend my time here, is I'm going to do Charleston for this video. And I'm going to kind of show some of the differences and such in Charleston. In all honesty, Charleston is probably one of the least, I don't want to say realistic, but least, like, true to real life in the game. Most Charleston in the game kind of resembles it, but doesn't really. And the only real thing that is really true to it is kind of the road structure in terms of the highways and also the Capitol. So we're going to go around the Capitol complex, take a look around, see what we can find, take some videos, and I'm going to have a kind of overlay of my voice talking about the differences in the game in real life, and hopefully have a little fun with this. So, sorry if you guys are seeing this video and you're expecting Point Pleasant, but weather happens. So, I'll be back in Point Pleasant as soon as possible, I promise. So I decided to take a bike down here. It's a nice day. And there's a lot of huge differences between, the game and real life. And one of them being, there's a statue here that's not in the game. Obviously, they're doing work on the Capitol, so I can't be like, hey, so they don't, show the work on the Capitol, because that doesn't make sense. But it is gold, so that's probably the most, the Capitol building itself is probably the most realistic to real life in the game. Now, there's one big thing, though. Behind me is the Canal River. And that's not the dam to Summersville Lake. In-game, for whatever reason, next to Charleston is Summersville and the Summersville Lake. That's about an hour and a half, I think, that way, not right there. So in-game, the Charleston's destroyed by basically the dam getting taken out and flooding the town and destroying all the city stuff. And yeah, that didn't happen because the dam's not there. The dam's way, way, way down there. So that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves, is the fact that the Summersville Lake is so close in-game. There's other things, but I'm going to go around. I'm going to go kind of ride around, get some photos, some videos, and hopefully kind of show you what it kind of looks like in real life. It's kind of tough. And then just behind me there's a bridge, which I'll put it up when I do the video, do editing, that goes to a highway on the Greenbrier Street in real life. I think it's Washington Street in game, maybe. That bridge isn't there. The closest bridge on this side of the that goes across the canal is about 15 blocks down the road. So that's the DMV building in game. Now the DMV is actually technically here at the Capitol, but you wouldn't go here to get your license. You'd actually go about 15 minutes away from downtown to Canal City, where the actual consumer DMV is. This is where they would do actual paperwork, and the state's DMV, all of it comes together. One big thing you'll notice right here, those connectors, I don't think are actually in the game. I think there's an underground connection possibly, but in game, I don't really remember there being connectors. I'm gonna go in and check again, but I don't think those connectors between the actual Capitol building and the other side buildings was actually there. So just like in game, in real life, there is a bell in front of the Capitol building. This bell is actually a reproduction of the Liberty Bell. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think, I don't know if the big staircase that leads up to the Capitol building in real life is there in game, or the fountain, but I know for a fact this bell is. So that is also something that is in the game, that is in Fallout 76. And then there over here is the other wing that you go into, where they have the police station and all that in game. I don't know if that police station's there or not. I'm guessing they have a security office somewhere in this complex. But there's also other buildings in real life. There's that building, another building, and then they also have another building over there that does refrigeration for the city, I believe, for the water. So kind of explore a little bit more, because I think one of the biggest things for me personally that I wish they would have done is there's a culture center and a museum that is in the Capitol complex that basically shows the history of West Virginia, and I kind of wish they would have incorporated it in some sort of way in the game, just because it would lead a little bit of a background and kind of tell us where West Virginia was, and a little bit of the fallout universe of West Virginia, because a lot of times when we look at lore and all that, and we kind of go back and we kind of like before like, you know, the whole like split per se in the timelines, we kind of just say, oh, well, that's fact. You know, whatever was in real life before that time is what happened in the Fallout universe. But I'm kind of interested to see, you know, how, you know, West Virginia in Fallout 76 dealt with the fact that instead of using coal and other things, they used atomic energy. So I kind of wonder how West Virginia fared when they didn't use, you know, coal as much as they did, you know, because they didn't use atomic energy in our timeline. So that's kind of food for thought. But I'll show you guys a little bit around the complex and all that. For the most part, there's not much at the Capitol complex that is pretty much the same in game. The Liberty Bell, the actual Capitol building, and that's about it. You know, I haven't seen any statues. They have the minor statue, but I'll show you guys, put a little photos in there to kind of show you how cool our Capitol complex is here in Charleston. So behind me is that street that basically you go to the Capitol in game in real life. That leads to the highway that kind of goes along the big hill. That's there in real life. But what kind of makes me kind of weirded out, I don't know, is down that way towards the river. There's actually a big like towering building that isn't there in real life. And there's also buildings on the other side of the road, which is Canal Road in real life from the Capitol. In real life, there's nothing there other than a path and the river. A steep drop off to the river actually, to the point that I don't even really like biking on that side of the road, because if I fall or make a misstep, I'm gonna go into the river. So it's kind of weird, a little bit different from real life, but it is what it is, you know, it's a game. So also right behind me, interesting feature of the Capitol complex is the governor's mansion, which is actually not in the game, which I kind of think it would be cool to have, but I kind of see there's no real reason for it. But maybe it would give us a little bit of an insight on the governor's life. Here in real life, from what I understand, our governor, Jim Justice, doesn't really stay in this mansion. He actually lives and travels to his house every day instead of staying here. But I don't know how true that is. That's what I hear. So, you know, hearsay. So the rest of this video is mainly going to be kind of talking about the street structure and stuff. Despite being the capital of the state, a lot of the city in real life doesn't really look like it does in the game. So the street structure is kind of there, but other than that, you know, kind of looking around the city in game, I haven't really found anything that looks like something it looks like in real life other than the Capitol itself. Kind of unfortunate, but it's a game. All right, guys, for this part of the video, it's going to be kind of just looking at the maps real quick to kind of see how realistic it looks like in-game to real life. So honestly, the overall structure of the actual map is kind of cool because it does kind of match. Right here, you have a bridge right here. Right there, you have a bridge. This other bridge that's here doesn't exist. Sorry, the bridge is right here. And then you have another smaller bridge right there, which is that one right there. And then this bridge in-game does not exist in real life. So there's a bridge right here, right in front of the Capitol. That does not exist in real life. Capitol's right there. And as you can see, this is the Canal River. This goes down, and it turns into two different rivers eventually. It turns into New River, and then it also goes into the Gully River. The Gully River leads to Summersville. So we have Summersville Lake right here, Charleston. If that dam broke, it would not flood all the way to Charleston and flood Charleston. Sorry. Just wouldn't happen. So the Capitol building right here is at the end. You have the airport right up here, the Yeager Airport, Wade Airport right there. So overall, the kind of the roads and whatnot all come together, and you have the highway that goes up this way. New River Gorge is right there in game. New River Gorge in real life is down here. And then, so New River Gorge is not near Flatwoods either, but that's a video for another day. So the lake is not that close. That's one takeaway. And this road right here, the Capitol building's right here. You have the road that goes right here onto the highway. It does that in real life. And this highway is there that kind of skirts the outside of the city and just keeps going along the rocks there. And those rocks are there and everything. So the overall structure of Charleston is relatively there, but most of the buildings, most of the things that are inside Charleston city are not there in game, or are just kind of basically filled out with buildings that would be there in their timeline, because the building structure was very different from what we have now. South Charleston, which is what this would be right here. That's a city. There is an industrial park over there, so it makes sense to have some industry, and I don't think we have a giant power plant over this way either. So other than that, yeah, that's kind of Charleston in game, or Charleston real life. So there's that. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention is that the Charleston sign looks kind of like it does in real life, which I think is really cool because a lot of the signs in game, like welcome signs for towns and all that, do look pretty like they do in real life. So I just wanted to bring attention to that before I forgot to. So you even got the bar kind of sticking out there just like you do in real life. So yeah. Hey guys, TJ here, and I want to say thank you again for watching this vlog, for catching up, and I'm sorry if it ran a little bit long. I wasn't really sure how to do this. I've never done anything like this before, so please give me some tips. Tell me what you think. Tell me how to improve so I can make this a better experience for next time, especially with everything going on and not being able to get to Point Pleasant this weekend. Next video will be Point Pleasant, so keep an eye out for that. Again, just let me know how to do this better. I want to do this better. I want to do this better for you guys because I know, I could do better than this. Thank you so much, and, if I had any regrets for the last video that I just did, I wish I would have smiled more, but I was kind of out in public. It was a little bit different for me to do this, so thank you for kind of working with me, and hopefully we can make this something awesome.